You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 23rd meeting of the Michigan City Finance Committee 2024 Budget Hearings, Part 3. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
And welcome to the 2024 City of Michigan City budget hearings. And I just want to start off just the formality as far as our roll call for attendance. And in attendance we have Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Present.
Tracy Tillman, present. I was informed that Mr. Paul Prisbalinski was going to be in attendance. We'll acknowledge him when he arrives. But we're going to go ahead and get started. The time now is 5:02 p.m. And we will be going over the police department budget. And they are present. And if you will please state your name and your department.
Steve Walker, Chief of Police, Michigan City Police Department.
Marty Corley, Chief Operations, Michigan City Police Department.
David Cooney, Chief of Services with the Michigan City Police Department.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I do have in front of me the Q&As that were sent out to the department heads, and I just want to go through that. In regards to question number 1, we were asking if there were any substantial changes to your budget, and the response was no. Do you have any positions not filled? And at the time this was submitted, there was 12 full-time police officers. Have any of those been filled?
No, we accounted for the individuals that started on Monday when we answered this question. And there's one more starting next Monday, so we accounted for those when we answered the questionnaire. So yeah, as of essentially next Monday, which is 28th, I think, we're still 12 police officers short.
Okay. Do you foresee by the end of the year that your roster will be complete?
So currently we have 6 applicants who have received a conditional offer, are currently at PERF, being evaluated by our pension fund for physical and psychological examinations. Those appointments are scheduled for the end of this month and the beginning of September. We're obviously in hopes that all 6 will pass. Generally, there's usually 1 or 2 that does not. Tends to be the trend. So again, we're hopeful that we'll get 6 out of that group. We had an applicant testing on Saturday, which yielded 10 applicants passing the written test, physical agility test, and so we've already started background investigations, and the police commission will be conducting interviews. So if things go according to plan and the schedule works out, that towards the end of the year, I would say November, December, we're hoping to get another 6 out of that 10 would be the ultimate plan. So yes, we have applicants in the pipeline. Again, we've turned a year-long process into about 4 to 5 months, kind of streamlining some things and working with public safety medical on getting those physical and psychological exams done. So we're hoping, knock on wood, that again, towards the end of the year that we'll be at a full complement, if not at the beginning of 2024, we're looking. And then have an established list of applicants to hire as well. So.
Okay. And you're not seeking to create any new positions in your department?
Not right now, no.
Okay. And as far as equipment needed for your department to fully operate to run the city, I see that there's a request for 10 new patrol vehicle lease. So with those vehicle lease, so being the finance committee, one of the questions is it more cost efficient leasing opposed to purchasing? Are you more comfortable with the leasing programs that you've been utilizing thus far?
I think right now, we're very comfortable. We were just discussing, when we look at the grand scheme of things, with the lease vehicles, I would say we're seeing less major fixes or repairs. Obviously, with the lease vehicles, a lot of that stuff is all covered under, part of the lease agreement. So we're seeing some of those major repairs. Well, we're not even seeing the major repairs because we haven't had any. you know, with the newer vehicles. You know, the vehicles that we tend to see, you know, major repairs on are the vehicles that are, you know, that we have listed are, you know, 10 years old, 9 years old, you know, upwards, I would say, of, you know, at 1,000 or just under 100,000 miles.
Okay, and so with these, if these new vehicles are leased, then that's gonna replace the ones that's getting ready to expire out of its leasing agreements right now, correct? So yeah.
Yeah.
And what?
No, so they won't replace any, these will be to get rid of some of those 2013, 2014 vehicles that we have in our fleet.
So those are the Ford Explorers?
Yes,
Correct.
so
It's just part of the rotation.
It's part of the rotation.
Okay.
Yeah, the vehicles that are essentially 10 years old will be rotating out.
So are you looking to ultimately have the entire fleet leased, or are you gonna keep some that?
When we look at it, we think, we call it services vehicles, so when we talk about like detective type vehicles, you know, or administrative type vehicles, we think in the future those probably could be wise to look at purchasing, I would say less wear and tear on those vehicles. We generally see less miles every year on those vehicles. We think in the future that'll be obviously maybe a possible route to go with those type of vehicles. As far as patrol vehicles, I think we're pretty comfortable right now where we like the idea of leasing because there's a rotation, there's an agreement, there's, I would say, less major, you know, maintenance or overhauls with that.
And also, since you mentioned the maintenance, so the pre-maintenance, that's all gonna cover under the leasing agreement and the contract. Anyway, it will be more cost efficient utilizing that opposed to using, city maintenance tech.
Yeah, I think, currently right now,
Like oil changes.
I would say currently, yeah, our vehicles that are under lease agreement, we take to Chrysler for oil changes. Per the request, I think as indicated, it was, you know, it's a better option financially to do that, so.
Okay.
And do you get mostly 2 or 3 year leases, or?
So with the patrol vehicles, we've been doing 3-year leases.
And is it with low mileage, or is it
3 years, 75,000, so basically 25,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
We usually don't hit that.
Yeah, we don't, yeah, and usually a patrol vehicle at about 75,000 is when you start seeing some of your problems. So that's why we kind of set it up that way.
so the service vehicles, will they start off as leases and then you buy them, or you're looking to just buy like a selection of those and just buy them outright and keep them?
They'll start off as leases and then we'll purchase
Them at the end of the
Have you created a way to monitor? I mean, considering how this was presented to us, so is this what you're going by as far as your rotation plan for your vehicles?
as far as what.
When you're purchasing vehicles, when they're ready to lease out, when they're ready to be turned back in once their contracts are up? I know that's been a question every year that's been posed to the police department in regards to how are you monitoring which vehicles need to be rotated out when you're ready to purchase new vehicles.
Yeah, so we're looking at the older vehicles in our fleet.
I mean, but this is how you keep track of it. The way you presented this.
No, we actually have a Excel sheet that has every vehicle listed on it with every month and a half mileage reported, and we put in new mileage as their VIN number and everything, what year and who's it assigned to.
Okay.
So this is just simplified.
This is simple.
I was saying it's quite simple. I was breaking it down for the question you asked.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Trying to keep it simple. I didn't want you to look through a whole Excel and thing. Right.
Okay.
That's too many questions.
Okay, so, well, let's look at your budget. So the budget starts on page 38 for the police department. Yeah. Committeeman Fitzpatrick, do you have any questions at this time?
So I did see with the chief's salary, there was a, not substantial, but a kind of a bigger increase with those. was that based off a percentage, or is that closer to what, other agencies are offering, or is it just bringing it up to where it probably should be?
I can answer.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing it's a percentage based on the rate.
Well, it's, what they were based on is what was negotiated in the union contract. So we took this year's salary, increased it by 6% and added $7,000. Because the police officers, their contract, they got a percentage increase that was in the original contract we had with them, plus the $7,000
Right.
they received.
And that's what I thought, we
For
didn't
the-
negotiate their salaries in that part, I didn't think so, yeah, okay, that's what.
Right, but the administration, which would be the chief and any assistant chiefs, they're under the mayor's salary order where all the rank and file are under the contract. But historically, the chief salaries
Just reflect whatever.
have been how the union contract read. That was the logic behind those numbers.
Did you have anything else?
No, that's just what, I was just wondering what was the basis of that.
And do you believe the budget that's been presented before you is sufficient in order for the Michigan City Police Department to carry out their duties and responsibilities?
Yeah, for 2024, we would all agree with that.
Other than that, Councilman Dabney, did you have any questions? There are none. Did you have anything else? Well, actually, there's no recommendations by the City Finance Committee at this time. That's all. Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We love it.
Unless you have questions or something you want to ask.
So when you say no recommendations, do you mean you're not recommending anything at all, or you're not cutting anything and you're not what do you mean when you say no recommendation?
No decisions in regards to.
Okay.
We're not recommending anything to the council as a whole, so,
So why are we doing this again?
to review it.
To review it, and someone may, if all members were here, they could have also put in a request for a recommendation.
Right.
We're each individual, so,
Okay, I'm just checking.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that's all.
Just wanna make sure kids get in.
Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. You too.
Earliest night of the week, to be the hottest day of the week.
Yeah. Have frosty.
A fruity frosty.
Well, there's the police commission and the police pension. Yeah, that's not actually them.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have questions on those? We could try and answer them.
No, because I know before, I know last year, there were some things that they wanted to request, but they didn't show up.
Right.
And they didn't show up, and I was asked again, yes, please come if there is something that you need for your department.
And they
That is
didn't,
separate, please come.
and looking at historically what they spent, they sent no request for a budget either.
Right.
That's why it's basically the same
Because
as what it's been.
the only thing from last year that they changed is that they had to go with different company. All right,
Right, to do the testing.
to do the test, yes.
Commission, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then the pension is based off of the first-class patrolman plus 25 years longevity. So I take the current month of pensioners because we've maxed out our pension liability because we have no new officers that will join the pension. The city pays. And I just increased that by 13% because that was the increase to a first class pay.
Yeah, the poltergeist.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
They're good with their testing.
Right, their testing is the only thing they pay for out of, oh, here we go.
We're done.
It's 204, Mary Lynn.
Yeah. For the
The city
police
finance
pension.
committee meeting is adjourned.
Well, they only
Thank
had,
you.
well, last year they didn't spend anything.